Peter, Dr. VOIP. The subject today is UCCX scripting strategies for remote technical support after hours. So we had an interesting request to create a CSQ that once the customer entered it after hours, we would try to provide the customer the same experience they had during hours, except that there are no agents logged in, and we actually have to go place a phone call to locate the agent. So ideally, what the client wanted, of course, was we get the agent on the phone and connect them to the waiting customer. We couldn't really find a way to do that in a single step inside the contact center. So we have to do it in two steps, and I'd like to walk you through some of the requirements and the solution that we ultimately executed. So the requirement was that after hours calls would still come into the technical support organization, and the company handles multiple products, so there are multiple CSQs. And, play the normal, we love you, please hold on the next available agent will be right with you. Actually, we did offer them the option to hold or to wait for an agent, and that we had to locate the agent. Now, locating the agent, keep in mind that there are multiple CSQs, so each CSQ had its list of agents, and you had to keep track of which CSQ the call came into so you could locate the proper agent. We also needed to verify that when we placed the call to the agent that the call could in fact be answered by a human. We don't want to talk to somebody's voicemail system, right? So the other characteristic was that all of this activity must be reportable in the normal historical reports. So we want to know that the call came in, it came into this CSQ, and we need to know that information when we run our reports. Also, there was a requirement to notify the team via email if there was in fact someone waiting for service. So it's an interesting. So above the after hours label is all the normal daytime stuff. The call comes in, greetings, select the CSQ, etc. Wait for the next available agent. But when they call in after hours, there's a switch that sends you to the after hours. And at this point, we play a menu and ask them to select the available technical support teams. So as you recall, one of the challenges we had was that we had to find the agent based on the CSQ the caller entered. So when they make their menu selection, there are some things that we do. We name the CSQs. So we set a string called CSQ. We set some Boolean variables that we'll use later to check the status of the agent and know how to continue to process the list. There is also a voicemail and an email for each CSQ. So as you can see here, if they selected this guy here, then we'd have to reset the email and the voicemail for this particular CSQ. If they select this guy, then we need to reset the target voicemail and the target email address to this variable here. So simple set commands get us through the day there. Then we send them to the locate the on-call resource, and that's where things start to get a little tricky. So we come down here to locate the on-call resource. Let's explode that so you can see it. So we play a menu that basically says you've reached us after hours. Press 1 if you want to be transferred to voicemail, and of course we send them off to the target voicemail that we previously noted above. or press 2 to hold for the next available agent. So if they select hold for the next available agent, the next thing we need to do is to go ahead and find that agent. And what we do is to queue the caller in a CSQ that the name of which was established by the menu selection they made. Now we know that there's nobody in this queue, but to make it reportable, we certainly do need to put them in a queue. At that point, they're in queue, and what we do then is to place them on hold. They're already on hold because they're in queue, but this hold step enables us to do some manipulation of the call and the message they hear. Up above, we needed to figure out which list we were going to search for, and the way we did that was to have a Boolean value that says, are we looking for CSQ1? If yes, then use list 1. If not, use list 2. So in this case, if they're looking for the EMR agents, if that's true, then we go here. And we established 2 switch values. And the switch values contain the list of agents. So agent 1, agent 2, and so forth contain the cell phone numbers of the agent. So we set the on-call resource equal to this string for agent 1. And the switch value, by the way, if they had selected false, then the switch value would have looked here, and it would have been looking for agents in a different category. The switch value is called escalation count because that's how we're going to go through the so basically the switch value is escalation count, and as the count increases, first time through it's 1, and if we have to come through again, we increase this count. As we process the list, we expect a null value for the last person in the list. So as we continue to process that list, the next tricky thing was call the agent. So let me close this up here so we can see the call the agent part. So clearly we test for a null value. If we got a null value as we searched our list, if that were true, then we'd make an apology and send them off to voicemail. By the way, if they go to voicemail, we send out an email alert to that fact, and the Unity escalation procedure for voicemail takes over. If it's false, however, do nothing and continue, at which time we have a value called the outbound agent call. Now this is where you get to use multiple contacts here. We have the triggering contact, we have the second contact we're going to need to create to generate an outbound call. All right, we're going to place the call to, we need to dial 9 first, so we have a string value for dial tone, plus the phone number of the on-call resource, which we retrieved from the switch values for the appropriate CSQ agent list. And at that point, we'll place this phone call. Remember, the caller isn't holding queue. We're placing this phone call now, and at that point, we have some new challenges. How do we know if a person answered? So the strategy we employed there was to play a message to the caller that basically said, press any, as you'll see here, is there's a menu here, and it says press any key to retrieve. And what they're hearing here when they answer the phone is an emergency locator system. You have a call, press any key to continue. And the timeout value is to repeat this menu. So the goal here is to verify that we have a human that answered the call. If they press 1, we know we got someone, and at that point we play another menu that says, if you're available to accept this call, please press 1. And if they press 1, we go to this stop search. We found someone. Had they pressed 2, indicating they were unavailable, we'd go down the fork in the road that says go find another agent. But in this instance, we find the agent. What we do is stop the search. We found someone that can now take the call. We play some instructions to them. Keep in mind, play the prompt to the proper contact. If you try to play the prompt to the triggered contact, you're going to get into trouble here. We want to play it to the outbound contact that we created. So at that point, what we're doing here is telling them we're going to hang up on you, and the next time your phone rings, it's going to be the customer. And that's how we solve this issue. At that point, we set the contact information, terminate the outbound call. Again, remember, if you terminate the triggering contact, you hung up on the guy in queue. Okay? So at that point, we take them off hold. We play a prompt that says we can transfer you now. Thanks for your patience. And at that point, we're using a simple call or redirect step to transfer the guy on hold to the agent. At that point, we can end the call. If we had reached an agent who said, I can't take this call, he would have dialed the menu option here. If you look at the menu options, we have we set up an option whereby they would press 1 to stop the search, and 2 if they couldn't take the call, in which case we would keep looking. And if we keep looking, basically what we do at that point is to send an email address. So we created an email, and we send that email to the target email address that we established up at the top of the script when we set our variables. And at that point, we set the contact information, terminate the call. Keep in mind that this is the result of the agent that we reached. We verified he answered because he pressed any key to accept the call, but he then subsequently said, I can't take this, go to the next guy on the list. We rat him out to management by sending an email to everybody saying he declined it, and that at that point we actually go back to the caller and give them yet another opportunity. We play a message that says, thanks for your patience. We're continuing to find the next available agent. You can opt out and go to voicemail or continue to hold. If they opt out and go to voicemail, we clearly redirect the call. If they continue to hold, what we do is increment the escalation count, and as you will remember, that is the variable in the switch step that selects the next agent value, and then at that point we return to the locate the on-call resets, and we continue to process the list. There's some error handling in here, but at the end of the day, it met the requirement of being able to handle multiple queues, send email, process an agent list, and to verify that we did in fact make contact with a human. So I posted the script up on the Dr. Voigt website, and I hope you have found this informative. I thank you for viewing.